So good afternoon everyone. So today we will discuss the other test called retardation test. And this is also conducted on shunt motor generator. Okay. Now the objective of this test is to determine is to determine the core losses plus rotational losses. Okay, so once I know these losses from this test, knowing the armature and shunt field copper losses, we can determine the efficiency. What we do is we try to run the machine. We try to run the machine at a rated or above rated speed, and then we remove the supply to the armature, keeping field connected. And what does it happen? The rotor or armature retards because supply is removed from the armature. So armature is freely retarding, but field is there, field excitation is there. So armature is freely allowed to retard. Now during this process we will try to measure the speed retardation versus time. That is the experiment we are going to do in this retardation test, right? So from that we will be calculating the core losses plus rotational losses, and then for any given loading condition we can find out the armature copper losses and shunt field copper losses, and hence we can determine the efficiency of the DC shunt machine. Okay, so here mathematically the kinetic energy stored, see otherwise I'll draw the diagram. This is field and this is armature, right? Because shunt machine, though the shunt machine, the field is also connected to the supply, but armature is removed from the supply but field is still connected. That is why I am trying to show the diagram like this. Okay, DC machine, let me show like this. Okay, so this is plus and minus. Now I have a switch here, which is first it is closed, later it is opened, right? Now once the supply is disconnected to the armature, keeping the field connected, now the armature tries to retard its speed, and we will be trying to measure the speed in terms of voltage equivalent. Okay, so because voltage induced is proportional to speed, okay, so the armature voltage is measured with the voltmeter. So for every particular time interval, regular time intervals t1, t2 like that, we will be noting down the speeds in terms of voltages, but we will be drawing again the equivalent speeds. Speeds. Okay. Now, what is mathematically I said, the energy, kinetic energy stored in the machine, that is half I omega square. I is the moment of inertia of the armature, omega is the speed of the armature in radians per second. Now this kinetic energy is being observed towards, core losses plus rotational losses, because field is there, field is there, right? Because of, due to field, this core loss component exists. If I don't connect this field, if I remove this field, then if rotor or armature is only just ideal, armature is retarding, then in that case only rotation loss will be existing, right? In that test only we can determine the rotation losses. But when the field is also existing or connected, then together we will be finding out the total losses, that core losses plus rotational losses. Now this kinetic energy stored in the armature before opening the supply is being now consumed towards the core losses and rotation losses when supply is disconnected and armature is retarded due to these two losses. If losses are not there, then it would have been continuously stayed at that speed only. It is continuously stayed at this same constant speed. If there is no core losses, no rotational losses, ఈ రెండు జీరోగా ఉంటే అంటే ఫ్రిక్షన్లెస్ అన్నది కాబట్టి, so speed would have been constant. But due to existing of these two, the speed falls. Okay, so we find out these two losses W through by taking the derivative of this kinetic energy with respect to time. So that is half into 2I omega into d omega by dt. So now this is I omega into d omega by dt. So this is what you can calculate. So this W is equals to, this is the basic formula, right, where we don't know about the moment of inertia and we have to calculate the derivative of omega with respect to time. These two things if you know, we can calculate the core losses and rotational losses together in the machine, right? Now as I said, if suppose you have drawn the curve omega versus t, right, then for a given rated current, rated speed, this is our rated speed, this point. Now at this point, if I draw the tangent to this point, okay, now this is OAB, so now I can say that yeah, omega d omega by dt is nothing but OB by OA from this graph, from this graph. Is it right? Right? So how did you obtain this graph? By noting down the serial number, time and voltage. Okay, first note down time instances, at what you want to note down the voltmeter reading, and then for the corresponding times note down the voltages. This voltage is nothing but EA. Okay, Now once we know the voltages with the field present from the OCC graph, I think from the OCC graph for the corresponding EA values, yeah, yeah, because field is, yeah, EA is equals to K 5 omega, right? So I can yeah, with known two values I can correspondingly find out the omegas, right? Now these values are also known, right? So once I can draw the graph between omega and t, now note down this level, rated speed. At this level draw the tangent line to this graph, right? Now this point, this length is OA and this length is OB, then d omega by dt is equals to OB by OA, right? So in this formula, if I write down once again, this omega is equals to I omega into d omega by dt, I can also convert this omega equals to 2 pi n by 60. So this is W, this capital W, not omega. W is equals to I into 2 pi n by 60 into 2 pi by 60 into dn by dt. So which comes out to be 2 pi by 60 whole square in into dn by dt, where now n is in RPS. I have taken here, RPM. This is because I have divided by 60, so this is n is in RPM. Okay, so either this formula or this formula, you can use anything. If n is in RPM, you can use this one. If omega e you directly found out, you can use this formula. Okay, now the question is how to find out the moment of inertia. Now there is one method, because you don't know, without this value you cannot find this core losses plus rotational losses, though you have found out this value through this graph, but you should have this I value, right? So for that given machine, the armature moment of inertia should be found. So normally in nameplate, inertia component is not given. Normally the nameplate details of the machine, inertia constant is not given. So what we do is, in the laboratory, if we have a specimen copy of a known inertia flywheel, with known inertia component I dash, okay, then what we do, we key in, we connect this to the motor. So motor armature inertia is I, and this flywheel inertia is I prime. Let me take I prime. Okay, so this value is known, this value I don't know, right? How do we find out now? Same thing, same retardation test you conduct. Retardation test. Once again, that is, so without flywheel once and with the flywheel once. Okay, two separate tests with and without flywheel should be conducted. Now without flywheel connected, what is W? Losses. W is equals to, I can say same formula, that is 2 pi by 60 whole square I into N into dN by dt1. dN by dt1. I am noting down. Noting down change in time for a 10% or 5%, 10% change in speed. Okay, so 1500 RPM లో తిరుగుతుంది అనుకుందాము. సో 10% అంటే అది 150 డౌన్, అంటే 1350 RPM వచ్చేంత వరకు వెయిట్ చేసి మళ్ళీ టైం ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఇక్కడికి టైం ఎంత పట్టిందో తీసుకుంటాం. దిస్ టైమ్ వి విల్ బి మెజరింగ్, రైట్? సో దట్ ఈస్ T1. ఓకే, నౌ with this is without flywheel. Now with flywheel, now again I will have W 2 pi by 60 whole square. Now I plus I prime, the moment of inertia is now I plus I prime multiplied by same, for the same change in speed again I am noting down the another time in second case. Now see, look, because with the flywheel connected, so the kinetic energy now will be different, stored in the machine will be different for the same operating speed. Initially without flywheel, for the same operating speed you have different kinetic energy stored. Initially kinetic energy stored may be different because of change in moment of inertia, but we say that the change in kinetic energy towards meeting the core losses and retardation loss for a same change in speed will be same. Did you get this point? What did I say? I am saying that for the same change in speeds, the amount of power consumed towards core losses plus rotational losses will be same in both cases, with flywheel, without flywheel. Though the initial amount of kinetic energy stored before opening the supply may be different, but the loss as the motor is retarding, for the same amount of change in speed, the amount of energy consumed with flywheel, without flywheel, for the same amount of change in speed will be constant. That is to be noted, right? So under that condition I am trying to equate these two equations. So I am taking same W here, same W here. So I equate, once I equate, so this goes, so I dN by dt1 is equals to I plus I prime into dN by dt2. So from this what you get, I prime is already known, so I is equals to I prime into T1 by simply T2 minus T1. This is a simple mathematical equation, right? So only thing is, for the given change in speed you need to measure time in both cases, T1 and T2, without and with the flywheel, right? Once you know these values, this is also known, so I is known, then you can substitute in this equation, to determine the total W or power consumed towards core and iron losses. So this is one type of approach where you have a flywheel specimen in the lab. If suppose we don't have flywheel specimen where its moment of inertia is known, so in that case we'll try to eliminate the inertia constant and we try to determine the power loss in a different way. So this is second method. Second method where we try to eliminate I, moment of inertia is not required. Now what we do is, again I redraw here, this is supply, okay, is that clear? So what we do is now I start the machine, bring the speed above the rated speed, operating speed slightly above the rated speed, and then second point is open the switch or open the switch and then close onto this side, and close onto known resistance value. Now what does it happen? Now when I close this side, the circuit is closed, armature circuit is closed. Here we have a induced EMF because field is present, voltage at the armature is exist because it is rotating still. So when EA is there in the armature and I am closing the circuit onto this side, so the current flows in the closed path through this resistance and RA in series. So I will be internal induced EMF by RA plus R, right? Now this current actually, that is power loss, is equals to I square RA plus R, right? So there is a resistive loss taking place due to the flow of current in the circulating path, right? Now this power together, suppose let me say this power is W prime. Now W plus W prime, W is towards to meet core losses plus friction and windage losses, this one, and this loss is towards resistance loss, copper loss in this closed circuit, right? Now these two losses will try to be equated through this 2 pi by 60 whole square into I into n into dn by dt1. Again you will be finding out in without this circuit closed, with this circuit closed. So this is with the circuit closed to resistance. So this W plus W dash is equals to 2 pi by 60 square into I into N dN by dt2. Let me take dt2, and with only the without I'm just opening the circuit. I'm opening the circuit, not closing onto this side, and then under that condition it is only W, and again 2 pi by 60 whole square into I into N, and this is dN by dt1. So for same change in, we will be finding out for same change in speed, we will note down the change in time. So this is T2, this is T1, this is switch just opened from the supply, and here switch is opened and closed onto the resistance, the first case. Okay, now equate from these two equations. If I take the ratio W plus W dash by W, if I take this, so this goes, I goes, N goes, I goes, N goes. So simply this is for the same change in speeds, I can simply write down this is T1 by T2. Okay, so from this I can, or otherwise I can find out W. I just wanted to W only. W prime I don't want. I only want core losses plus rotational losses. So W is equals to W prime, W prime into T2 by T1 minus T2. Okay, so what is W prime? How do I evaluate? To evaluate this one, I need to find out also this W prime. So W prime can be either calculated by I square or A plus R. Okay, or W prime is also into V average into I average. So this is average current. So what I do, I have to take the average of current from starting to ending current. I'll take the average of these two and substitute here. This is some sort of approximate evaluation of this W prime, right? So current is varying from initial to final value, and voltage will also vary from initial to final value. So we have to take an average value of these two and substitute here to find out the W prime. So once I get the W prime, then I can evaluate the core losses like this. So this retardation method is bit not exact. It will give very approximate value of core losses and the rotational losses to some extent. Okay, so this is all about the rotational losses and core losses to determine. And once we have, for any given operating condition, we can evaluate or calculate the copper losses of armature and shunt. So knowing all the losses, then we can find out the efficiency of the machine. So shall we take one small problem? So what is given? A separately excited machine. Okay, in a retardation test, in a retardation test, they found that the armature voltage has a change from the opening of the switch. It varied from 220 volts to 190 volts in 30 seconds. I just opened the switch, that's it, and the armature is free to retard with the field connected. That is the case in the first one. Now in the second case, the same percentage of retardation in the speed has occurred only in 20 seconds, but with switch closed onto resistance, and resistance value is not given, but 10 amps average, I is equals to 10 amps average they have given. Now what is the W they are asking? Core losses plus rotational losses. How shall I find out? T1, T2 they have given. T1 is 30 seconds, T2 is 20 seconds. Is it right? T1 is the just opened, not closed onto the resistance. That is, for the same change in speed, they have noticed in both cases T1 30 seconds, T2 closed onto resistance is 20 seconds. Right? So W is equals to W prime by T2 by T1 minus T2. So we know T1, T2, but W prime, what is W prime? W prime is for the same amount of change in voltage. So what is the change in voltage? Change in voltage or average voltage multiplied by average current. So plus 220 plus 190 divided by how much is this? 300, 410 by 2, 205 volts. This is average value. Right. And what is the average current? They have already given 10 amps. Now W prime is 2050 watts. Now what is W? W is equals to 2050 into T2 is 20 divided by T1 minus T2 is 10. So this is 2 times. So this is 4100 watts. So this is core losses plus rotational losses together. Core losses plus rotational losses together. Okay, so simple everything. Only thing is you should remember the procedure and the small formulas. That's it.